Ambassador Benga Downsea for having me, the Impact Campus team, the Faculty of Science, and everyone involved all together. Thank you for having me. Okay, and I want to thank the speakers that went before me for straightening the way before showing up. Thanks for, just that I'm now wondering what to speak about when my mentor has spoken. So the person who spoke before me is my revered mentor for many years. So it's a full circle for me because I grew up in Ibadan, right? And I once played around this university, and more so full circle for me because when you have to listen or when you have to come speak on the same platform that someone who has mentored you for years is also speaking, that's full circle. All right, so let's get into what we have to share because I have limited time. I'll be speaking briefly and share my thoughts around the mindset of excellence, breaking limits in any project that you have to work on. Pardon my voice, I just finished speaking at the conference. Now, what's the difference between the answer of Mr. A and Mr. B, or bricklayer 1 and bricklayer 2? Same job, same tools, probably. Pans, shovels, and all the likes. Same environment that they were in, but different mindsets that would trigger different approach to the work they were doing, and definitely different outcomes. What do we mean? Someone was asked, what are you doing? He said, I'm laying bricks. Someone else said, I'm not just laying bricks, but I'm building a cathedral that will last for generations to come. Take this context, everyone. If you're building a cathedral, right, that will last for years to come, that is your goal. That means that goal will inform the materials that you're going to use to build. Am I correct? Because if you want to build something that will last, then it will inform the attention you pay to how you build. So when someone asks you next time, what are you doing? Think deeply before you answer, because that can determine how you build eventually. Now, what is excellence? What is excellence? Where do we begin from, really? Maybe we should start from what the mindset of excellence is, really. But firstly, excellence begins in the mind. Excellence does not begin on the work. Excellence does not begin on the journey. Excellence begins in the mind. So good that Dr. Korede Adams spoke a lot about the mind, and I'm going to speak a lot about the mind also. Why? Because everything begins from the mind. And that's what it is. It is not just psychology. It is not just science. It is a reality of life. Everything begins in the mind. Excellence is a mindset. Excellence begins with how you think about a thing or two. Excellence begins long before the work starts. It begins before the work starts. Let me ask you also, what do you think excellence is? But before you answer me what excellence is, which I'm going to ask one or two persons to actually give me an answer, what is your definition of excellence? Anybody? What's your definition of excellence? Let me have one or two persons share what you think excellence is. Let me see someone who is bold enough to share. Let's engage. Yes, please. Please go ahead. Okay.
Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Mr. Olua. I think an excellent person, or excellence in general, is just an high performer, someone that does above what every other person do.
Okay, a high performer, someone that does above what every other person does, right? So let's see. Any other definition? Let's have one more. Yeah, there's a lady there. Yes. What is excellence?
Excellence is the quality of being superior or good at what you do, either a performance or a skill.
Beautiful. Excellence is the quality of being superior or being good at what you do. I love the definitions that you have given so far, but let's see if your definitions were right or wrong. I'm not going to tell you if it was right or wrong. As we move along, you will decipher by yourself if your definition was right or wrong. Is that okay? Is that okay? Okay, I've not asked you to look at your neighbor and tell your neighbor, be an excellent person. Please go ahead and do that now. Tell your neighbor, be an excellent person. Okay, let's say it in a better way. Say, be an excellent leader. All right, thank you for that. So, excellence actually begins with the right definition of the future. That's what it begins with. It begins with the right definition of the future, the right definition of vision, the right definition of outcomes. By the way, I didn't say the right definition of outputs. Let me take us back a little. For every output that you have, there must be a number of inputs. Am I correct? Let's take it to school. There must be a number of inputs that will give you some outputs. But to be able to give you output, you must run those inputs through a process. Are we together? So you have some inputs, then you have a process stage that processes the inputs that will now give you output. Now, excellence is not necessarily in the output alone. You define your output, but not only your output, but also your outcomes. Your output is different from your outcome. Output is a result or the resultant effect of what you processed that appeared. But outcome is the value you derive from the output. Am I making sense? So I asked one or two persons to paint this hall for me all white, assuming, or put curtains around this hall to be all white. So the inputs will be the curtains, and the picture and all of that. That's input. The processing will be them climbing up, fixing all of those things there, right? What will be the output? The curtains all white on the wall. But what is the outcome? When I walk into the hall, if what I see is beautiful or not, satisfactory or not, that will be the outcome. So output is not necessarily an outcome. So when we are speaking about excellence, it's not just about the outcome of the process. It is the outcome that was expected. However, many people in defining excellence or in trying to be excellent focus more on the output and the outcome, forgetting about the process. Let me bring it home. If you are not going to chew stones in your bins, you pay attention to the process of picking it. Am I correct? So, question. Where do you find excellence executed the most? Is it on the outcome or on the process? On the process, right? So, let's redefine excellence now. So, inasmuch as there must be a vision, there must be a standard that you are looking at, but that is not where excellence starts from. I mean, that's not where excellence eventually emerges from. So you must pay attention to the process. That is where the real deal of excellence is. I know we live in climes, in generation, or in times where we tend to skip processes. Everything is now fast-paced. Now Indomie's quick, machines, machine learning, AI, everything is fast. But trust me, there's nothing that is still fast that has no process. Am I correct? And the beauty, the excellence of anything that is quick and fast, that's doing well, is a function of the fact that they have paid attention to the process. Look at your neighbor and say, pay attention to process. Say it again, say, pay attention to process. So let's also talk about what excellence is not. Again, excellence is not a gift. Excellence is not talent. Excellence is not luck or random occurrence. No. Excellence is not necessarily intelligence. It can be part of it. Excellence is a pattern of thinking that produces a pattern of behavior, and that behavior now shapes the outcome. Let me take that again. Excellence is a pattern of thinking, a combination of thoughts that shapes a pattern of behavior that now eventually shapes a pattern, or that eventually shapes rather the outcome. That's why excellence is more of progress, process, than it is perfection. Excellence is not perfection. Excellence is continuous improvement, daily, consistently, with discipline to achieve something extra. The word excellence is a root word of excel, to go beyond, to take extra mile. So that's why you have that word extra, to go beyond. So excellence is paying attention to the process and going a little step further. It takes just a little step further to pay attention to a process and ensure that that process eventually births the expected outcome. All right, so let's take this thought further a little bit more. So excellence is a game of product and processes. So now if you're looking at excellence and defining it in the parlance of projects, okay? If you're defining the parlance of projects, then we have to look at processes. Now, please, would you, everyone, please rise on your feet and let's welcome Dr. Albert Oduwole. Please go ahead, rise on your feet and put your hands together. Please do it better. You can do better. You're welcome, sir. Please go ahead. You can do better. Good to have you, sir. All right, take your seat. So I'm going to make sure now that I won't take long so we can hear from Doctor, right? And it's an honor to have Doctor amidst us, really. And like I said earlier before I started, it's full circle for me to have learned and gleaned over 20 years ago, you know, from this great man, this great colossus of transformational energy, and then coming to now speak where he's seated. It's a good one for me. It's a great one for me, and I'm honored. Please put your hands together again for Doctor. Good to have you, sir. We are very honored to have you. All right, so as I was saying, and I'll round off quickly, because we need to hear Doctor. So, you know, excellence, the mindset of excellence actually is a deliberate, disciplined, and process-based approach. And let me break that down. So when you're looking at excellence, if you're going to achieve anything excellent, don't start trying to think about the outcome. Leave the outcome alone. What should you focus on? The process. Everybody say the process. Say it again, say the process. And how should you focus on the process? Paying attention to the details of the process. If I can pay attention to the details of the process, I don't need to bother my head about the outcome. The outcome will be settled. Just like that simple example, as simple as it is, but that's what it is. If I can pay attention to picking the beans properly, I'm not going to choose stones. That's the way excellence works. That's the way it works. So now, let's take it a little bit further and see where we can tie it up right now. So excellence starts with envisioning that great future, yes, that great outcome, but let it also now shape your behavior to now pay attention to the process itself. Pay attention to the process. I'm going to come back to talk about the 4 dimensions of, you not being stuck on a project. Okay? But before then, I need to talk about different mindsets, since we are speaking about the mindset of excellence, that we need to have to be able to be excellent leaders. Are we ready for this? Somebody say yes. Are you ready for this? All right. So, the very first mindset you need to have as an excellent leader is the value perception mindset. Say to your neighbor, say value perception mindset. I have a popular saying that I love to say, that anytime you are given a job or a work to do, anytime you're given a job or a work or a task to do, you are already drawing a portrait of yourself. Anytime you're given a task to do, you're already drawing a portrait of yourself. How do I mean? What is a portrait? A portrait is a picture that comes from the chest region to the top to reveal details. So anytime you're given a task to do, the way you do it reveals your values and your value. 2 different things. The way and manner you approach it reveals your values and your value, as it were. It's an opportunity for you to reveal what you're made up of. So if you have that mindset of the fact that when I have a job I'm about to do, I'm going to be painting a portrait of myself, and when I paint a portrait of myself, people will see the details that I'm made up of, then it drives me to pay attention to the process. Does it make sense? So when I have a value perception mindset, I'm going to make sure I pay attention to the smallest part of the job I'm doing. Excellence sometimes, or paying attention to detail, is defined this way, in a funny way, in the sense that I could have said that I am not going to remove my jacket today. So when I was ironing my clothes, I ironed just this front and I didn't iron the sleeves and the back. That is mediocrity. What if something happens and I need to pull off my jacket? So what happens to the back and what happens to the sleeves? So what I'm saying in essence is, excellence in itself is thinking about the fact that every part of a work reveals value at one point or the other. So I must pay attention to every part, no matter how little I think it is. The fact that it's little doesn't mean it's not as important as anything that is obvious. In fact, the fact that it's not in the open doesn't mean I shouldn't pay as much as attention that I pay to the ones in the open. That is the value mindset. The second mindset that you must have, or you must cancel or be careful of, is the survival mindset. Survival mindset. When you have a survival mindset, you are not thinking of thriving, you are thinking of surviving. When you have that kind of mindset, you are not going to pay attention to building something excellent. You must come to that part whereby you think legacy over just do something, just get money, just get something out of it. You must think about the long haul other than just now. So that helps you to bring together the best of your arsenals or the best of your assets to fix any job that you have to do. By the way, human beings are naturally, selfish, right? Human beings will naturally handle what is their own more than what is another man's own, naturally. And that takes me to the third mindset, ownership mindset. Look at your man and say ownership mindset. When you handle any job, any task, anything like it's yours, you are likely to pay more attention to details than when you think, oh, it's not mine, so I can't kill myself, I don't have to bother myself. Are we still together? So being intentional is a function of you having a stake in a thing, and one of the ways that makes you to have a stake in a thing is having an ownership mindset. I go to the fourth one, which is, okay, let me leave the fourth one and go to the fifth one, which is love and passion mindset. Love and passion. We have this saying that says, do what you love and love what you do. That's my own balance. do what you love, but also love what you do. You know why? There are sometimes you might have to do what you don't like so as to eventually do what you like. Are we together? There are sometimes you might have to love what you are doing currently so that you can eventually do what you love. And one of the ways to do that is when you develop passion, when you develop deliberate love for what you do. And one of the ways to deliberately develop that is to stay hungry, stay inspired. Any mouth will definitely salivate at the scent of food. It's normal. That stuff that you think you don't like to do currently that you're doing, maybe the course you're studying, you don't like it. One of the things you can do to yourself is to surround yourself with things around that course or around that thing you don't like. Because since you have to do it, it's better to love it so that you can do it well. Are we together? One of the ways to be excellent is to love what you do. As I close, there was a young cleaner at a local firm years ago that I met, and rather than cleaning as a regular cleaner, you know what he did? He decided to start cleaning like a consultant. So he didn't see the job as just cleaning. So he decided that no, I'm not going to clean as regular cleaners, but I'm going to clean as a consultant. Are we following? Then, you know what he did eventually? So he decided to place premium on the process of cleaning. Not just premium on his shoulders for pride, no. He placed premium on the process of cleaning. How? He created checklists. I'm already giving you some, excellent driven tools. He created some checklists for himself so that he wouldn't miss detail of where to clean. Step one. So he also went ahead and mapped out some cleaning standards for himself, that these are the benchmark for cleaning. If I'm going to wipe out this mirror, it has to be this level. He created that for himself. He went ahead and optimized the room turnaround time. In other words, to improve the time he spent in cleaning, to reduce it consistently. So improvement was there. Then he built a simple reporting system that was not asked for, to report to his upline what he was doing. Having done all of these to be proactive and accountable, guess what? He was promoted 3 times in 18 months to start with. And after he was promoted 3 times in 18 months, and I went back the next time and I didn't see him there. And I was told that within 3 years, he became a consultant designing facility management SOP, standard operating procedures, for multiple buildings and companies. Excellence makes you unavoidable and unforgettable. Excellence does not respect tribe or clan or background. Once you are excellent in any system, you'll be sought after. Now, I saw a survey that I think is useful, will be useful for everyone here. 72% say that they want success. It's a survey that was done for young people by Harvard Business Review. 72% say, young people say that they want success. Only 8% of these people create structured plans with timelines attached to it. Because anytime you have a plan and has no timeline, it's just a wish that you have. Now, only 2% of these same people, right, were ready to pay attention to details to execute and review those plans progressively. Think about yourself, the plans you've had over a period of time. How much have you paid attention to work them? Excellence is not just a desire. Excellence is structured, cultured way of discipline, all right, in consistent execution of little things. That's my goal. Little things. I tell you a final story and we shut down. So there was this young man about 15 years ago, thereabout. This young man now walked into a consulting firm and told the managing partner that he would love to be an intern in that space. And guess what? Yeah, he was offered an internship, but without pay. So this young man started trekking from his house to and fro, that internship space, and he told himself that I am not going to work as an intern, neither am I going to work like every other person is working. I'm going to work like I am the highest paid worker in the organization, and that's exactly what he did. And he would dress up very well, trek to the place to and fro, work like he is the best person, take any job, anything that the other guys leave, he would work them, he would do everything, and guess what? He was learning a lot. After like a year or two, about 2 years thereabout, something happened. The managing partner took notice of him and started taking him out to go and defend projects, make presentations, and he was learning the more from internship. After the 3rd year, he was promoted to be one of the senior managers in 3 years from intern. Now, he made up his mind to pay attention to processes. That same person is the one standing in front of you today. And I shared that to say this. Thank you. When you get into any system and start from now, what I need you to take away from here is build a culture and a system to pay attention to processes. In an age and climb where we want things to be fast and furious, if you know what I mean, we need to pay attention to our processes, learn strategically, be disciplined in what you do. And let me say this, young leader, young lady, young man who is here, you are not just Nigeria's future or Africa's future. You are actually Nigeria's present chance and advantage to a better future. If we lose you and we lose me, we're not sure of what the future of Nigeria and Africa will be. And to be a transformation leader or transformative leader, in the very nearest future, which is already here now, we need to start paying attention or excellence in every little thing, from what you read, what you do in your class, in your study, in everything that you do all together, paying attention to every detail. When you are excellent in what you do now as a leader at your level, excellence will be a normal thing when you get to the top. Thank you so much for your time.